In the basement of a forgotten collection, I found it. A book, unlike any other. Welcome, dear souls, to Tales of the Tattered Book. My name is Balthazar Callis. I am your host, the keeper of this book, bound to it since the night it revealed itself to me. When its pages hunger for voice, this cursed tome opens and chooses how its stories should be told. I can only comply because I am its voice. Tonight, the book has opened again, and as always I remind you, once a story begins, it must be heard to its end. Are you ready to listen? In Japanese folklore, when a person dies with their soul at peace, the spirit passes gently into the afterlife. But when death comes with unfinished business, with rage, with grief, with love that cannot let go, the soul becomes something else. Yurei. The word means dim spirit, a presence caught between worlds. You know them by their appearance: long black hair unbound, white burial kimono, skin the color of old paper, and no feet. Yurei float because they no longer belong to the earth. But not all yurei are the same. Some are merely sad, lost, waiting for release. Others become onryo, vengeful spirits whose grudge is so powerful it can curse entire bloodlines. The onryo does not simply haunt, it destroys, slowly, patiently. It prefers to let its victim live a long life of suffering, watching everything they love turn to ash. And in Japan, there is one object the yurei is drawn to above all others: the mirror. Kagami. The old priests say a mirror doesn't just show your face, it shows your soul. That's why they cover them when someone dies. Tonight, the Tattered Book shows me two voices, two sisters, one mirror. This is their story. ZUTTO ISSHO, together forever. Let the story begins.
Part 1. The Earthquake. Yumi, age 8. I remember the sound first, like distant thunder, but beeper, like the earth was clearing its throat. Then everything moved. Mama screamed from the kitchen. The bookshelf in our room tilted sideways with a slow, almost polite heaviness, and Aiko grabbed my hand. We ran for the doorway like Papa taught us. We made it 3 steps before the ceiling folded in on itself and the world became noise and weight and dark. I don't know how long I was under there. Minutes? Hours? When I opened my eyes, dust filled everything, grey and thick, coating the inside of my mouth. It tasted of wet concrete and iron. Blood, I realised later. I'd bitten through my lip. My ears rang so loud I thought the earthquake was still happening. I could move my left arm, nothing else. I pushed at the rubble until I made a space the size of a fist, and light leaked through. Grey light. Morning, or what was left of it. Aiko was close, 2 meters, maybe less. A beam lay across her chest, pinning her to the floor. Her face was turned toward me. I could see her mouth moving. She was calling to me, crying maybe. But all I heard was that high ringing, drowning everything else. Between us, on the floor, unbroken in the middle of all that destruction, was grandmother's mirror. The one we used to stand in front of together, pressing our cheeks side by side, making faces until Mama told us to stop. It had no crack on it, not a scratch, as if the earthquake had been afraid to touch it. Through the glass, I could see Aiko's reflection staring back at me. Two of her, the real Aiko, pinned and crying, and the mirror Aiko, watching me with eyes that already looked older than 8. The ringing in my ears faded. Sound came back in fragments, groaning wood, settling rubble, a car alarm somewhere far away. And Aiko's voice, very small, like something heard from the bottom of a well. "Yumi, I can't move." I tried to drag myself toward her. The rubble shifted, and above us something let out a deep wooden groan. Another beam cracked, holding on by stubbornness and nothing else. Plaster dust rained down on us like grey snow. I stopped. We both knew what would happen if I kept moving. "Go," she said. "Find Papa. Bring him back." "I won't leave you." "You're not leaving. You're going to get help. That's different." Her voice was steady, steadier than mine would have been. Aiko was always the braver one. I was the one who cried during thunderstorms while she held my hand. "Promise me," she said. "ZUTTO ISSHO," I whispered. "Together forever." What we said every night before sleep. What we wrote on each other's hands in class. What we were. "ZUTTO ISSHO," she said back. I crawled toward the light. My knees bled on broken tile, and I didn't feel it. Behind me, the ringing faded enough that I could hear her. Clearly now, clearly enough to carry the sound for the rest of my life, calling my name. Yumi, Yumi, Yumi. I told myself I was doing the right thing. I told myself I'd find Papa and we'd come back, and I'd hold her hand, and the doctors would lift the beam, and everything would be fine. I was 8 years old, and the world was simple enough to believe that. Outside was chaos. Buildings slumped into the street like tired animals. People screamed, bled, ran in circles. I couldn't find Papa, couldn't find Mama. A woman I didn't know, I never learned her name, never saw her face properly, scooped me up and carried me away from the building. I watched our house get smaller over her shoulder, and I tried to tell her my sister was inside. My sister needed help. But the words came out wrong, came out as sobs, and she just held me tighter and kept walking. I never went back. They pulled her body from the rubble 3 days later. The beam had crushed her ribs. They said she died within hours. I know better. She died watching me leave, watching through grandmother's mirror until the dust settled and the light faded and there was nothing left to see. And when the dark finally came, she kept watching anyway, because Aiko was patient, and Aiko believed me when I said I'd come back, and she waited in that dark for 3 days with the mirror as her only company. I think that's when the mirror learned her face. I think that's when she learned to live inside it.
Part 2. The Voice. Aiko, age 8, forever. You promised. ZUTTO ISSHO. That's what you said. I remember the shape of your mouth when you said it. I remember the dust on your face and the light behind you. And I remember you crawling away from me. I watched you go. Through the mirror. I watched until the glass was all I had left. It was cold in the dark, so cold. And I was alone. Do you know what alone feels like when you've never been alone? We shared everything, Yumi. A face, a room, a heartbeat. Mama said when one of us cried, the other felt it. When one of us laughed, the other smiled without knowing why. I felt you out there, living, breathing, forgetting. And I stayed here, in the cold, in the mirror, waiting for you to come back. You never did. Why didn't you come back?
Part 3. The New House. Yumi, age 9. We moved to Osaka in autumn. Papa found an apartment near his sister's place. 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, and a balcony overlooking a parking lot. Everything was clean and small and had nothing to do with us. Mama didn't come at first. She was in a hospital in Kobe, and when I asked Papa when she was coming home, he said soon, and then he said soon again, and after a while I stopped asking. She came back eventually, months later, but by then she'd become someone else. A woman who sat by windows and flinched when trucks drove past. Papa enrolled me in a new school. On the first day, the teacher read the register and called my name, and I waited for her to call Aiko's next, because that's how it always went. Always. And when she moved on to the next surname, the silence where my sister's name should have been was so loud, I put my hands over my ears. The other children stared. The teacher asked if I was all right. I wasn't. But I was 9, and 9-year-olds learn quickly how to say yes when they mean no. I was sleeping alone every night, for the first time in my life. Our old room had 2 futons side by side, so close our hands would touch in the night without either of us reaching. Now I had a single bed against a wall and a space beside me. Papa salvaged what he could from the rubble. Photo albums, a box of clothes that still smelled like our old house, some furniture that were not completely destroyed. And the mirror. Grandmother's mirror, still perfect, still without a mark on it, while everything else from that house came back broken. "We should keep it," Papa said, "for Aiko." He hung it on the wall in my bedroom, facing my bed. I wanted to ask him not to. I wanted to say that looking at that mirror made my chest tight and my hands cold. But Papa had carried it all the way from Kobe, wrapped in his coat like a baby. And his face when he hung it was the closest thing to peace I'd seen on him in months. So I said nothing. The first week, I covered it with a towel before bed. The second week, the towel fell during the night. I woke to moonlight on glass, and my own face staring back at me. And for 1/2 second, that horrible, beautiful half second between sleep and waking, I thought it was Aiko. I was grieving. I was 9. I missed my sister so badly, my brain was filling in the gaps. The third week, I stopped covering the mirror. Not because I wasn't afraid, because I wanted to see her. I wanted it so much that the fear didn't matter. Every night I'd lie in bed, staring at the glass, willing her to appear, whispering her name into the dark, begging. Nothing. Until a Tuesday in November. I was doing homework at my desk when I felt it. A presence. The feeling of someone standing close behind you, breathing on the back of your neck, waiting to be noticed. I looked at the mirror. 2 reflections. Me at my desk and Aiko standing behind my chair, wearing the pajamas she died in. She was exactly as I remembered. Same face as mine, same height, same everything. Except her feet didn't touch the floor. She hovered, just barely, a centimetre of dark space between her toes and the ground. She was smiling. I didn't scream. I should have, but I didn't. I turned around. The room behind me was empty. I turned back to the mirror. She was still there, still smiling. She raised her hand slowly and pressed her palm flat against the inside of the glass. Her mouth moved. No sound came through, but I knew the shape of those words. I'd said them 1,000 times. ZUTTO ISSHO. When Papa came home, he found me asleep on the floor beneath the mirror, my hand still raised, my fingers blue with cold. He carried me to bed and said I'd had a bad dream. I didn't tell him what I saw. I didn't tell him that I was glad. She came back. She promised she would, and she did. I thought that meant everything would be all right.
Part 4. The Years. Aiko, age 8. Forever. You grew up, Yumi. I watched it happen through the glass. Every morning you brushed your hair in front of me, and every morning it got a little longer, a little darker, while mine stayed the same, tangled with dust. You grew into your face. I stayed in ours. At first it was enough, watching you, being near you, feeling you on the other side of the glass, warm and alive and there. You'd talk to me sometimes, whisper to the mirror before bed, tell me about your day, about the teacher who mispronounced your name, about the boy who pulled your braid. I listened. I always listened. It was almost like before. Almost.
Yumi, age 13. Her name was Sakura. She sat behind me in class, and one day she passed me a note that said, "Your drawings are really good. Want to eat lunch together?" It was the first time since Kobe that someone wanted to be my friend. Not out of pity. The teachers had made sure everyone knew about the earthquake, about my sister, and for years I'd been the girl people were nice to because they felt sorry for her. Sakura didn't know any of that. She just liked my drawings. We ate lunch together every day for 2 weeks. She taught me to fold paper cranes. I drew her portrait and she stuck it to her bedroom wall. She invited me to sleep over on Saturday. Friday night, I told Aiko about it. I was happy, genuinely happy for the first time in years, and I wanted to share it with her the way I used to share everything. Her reflection didn't smile. Saturday morning, Sakura called to cancel. Her voice was strange, tight, rushed. She said her mother didn't want her coming over anymore. She couldn't explain why. She sounded like she'd been crying. On Monday, she changed seats. She didn't look at me. When I tried to talk to her in the hallway, she flinched. Actually flinched, as if I'd raised my hand to hit her. I never found out what happened.
Aiko. She wasn't your sister, Yumi. I'm your sister. She would have left eventually. They always leave. I was saving you the pain.
Yumi, age 17. Kenji sat next to me in English class. He had a crooked smile and paint stains on his fingers because he spent every free period in the art room. One afternoon, he showed me his sketchbook. Cityscapes mostly, Osaka at night. And I showed him mine. And for a moment, it felt like breathing after holding your breath for years. He asked me to get ramen after school that Friday. I said yes before I could think about what that meant. The date was good. He was nervous and funny, and he didn't ask about my family. He walked me home, and at the door, under the streetlight, he leaned in and kissed me. It was quick, clumsy, and I walked inside smiling for the first time in years. He wasn't in school on Monday or Tuesday. By Wednesday, I asked the teacher, and she said his family had moved, suddenly, over the weekend. I never heard from him again. No one thought it was strange. People move. But I knew what happened.
Aiko. I didn't like how you looked at him. Your face went soft. Your eyes went somewhere I couldn't follow. You never looked at the mirror that way. So I make sure he won't be looking at anyone anymore.
Yumi, age 23. By then, I understood what was happening, even if I couldn't prove it, even if saying it out loud would have put me in the same hospital where Mama spent her first year in Osaka. Every friendship withered. Every relationship crumbled before it started. Colleagues who were warm on Monday grew distant by Friday. Landlords who smiled at the signing wouldn't meet my eyes by the end of the lease. People felt something around me, a coldness they couldn't name, a discomfort they couldn't explain. I moved 6 times in 4 years. The mirror came with me every time. I couldn't leave it behind. I tried once, packed everything except the mirror, drove to the new apartment, unpacked. When I opened the bedroom door, Grandmother's mirror was already on the wall, exactly where it had been in the last apartment. The glass caught the hallway light, and in it I saw Aiko's face, still as stone, watching me with an expression I'd never seen on her before. Disappointment.
Aiko. You tried to leave me. Again. You always try to leave me. But I will follow you wherever you go.
Yumi, age 45. I stopped trying. Stopped making friends, stopped dating, stopped expecting anything from anyone. I worked, I came home, I sat in front of the mirror and talked to my dead sister because she was the only relationship I was allowed to have. Some nights she was gentle. She'd press her palm to the glass and I'd press mine back, and we'd sit like that in silence, feeling each other's cold warmth, and it was almost like being children again. Other nights she was angry. The glass would fog with her breath. Can ghosts breathe? And I'd see words forming in the condensation. You left.
You promised.
promised. I learned to tell her moods by the temperature of the room. Warm meant she was calm. Cold meant I should be careful. The night the pipes froze and burst in the apartment above mine, flooding my bedroom, ruining everything except the mirror, that was a bad night. That was the night I understood that Aiko didn't just want me alone. She wanted me to know that being alone was a choice she made for me. A gift. The same gift I gave her when I crawled toward the light and left her in the dark.
Aiko. Now you understand. Now you know what it feels like.
Part 5. ZUTTO ISSHO. Yumi, present. 70 years. I've spent 70 years in front of that mirror, talking to her, fighting with her, sitting in silence with my palm against the glass and hers against the other side, feeling the cold pulse between us, like a heartbeat that belongs to neither of us, and both. I'm 80 years old. I weigh nothing. The nurses handle me like I'm made of paper, and maybe I am. A life with no one in it doesn't leave much behind. No children, no husband, no friends who lasted longer than a season. Just me and the mirror, and the girl inside it, who made sure I'd never belong to anyone but her. I should hate her. I don't. That's the worst part, Aiko. After everything, every door that closed, every room that went cold, every person who looked at me like I was carrying something contagious, I still love you. I've always loved you. You made sure you were the only one left to love, and it worked. And I love you anyway. And I don't know if that makes me faithful or broken.
You look so tired, Yumi. You look like Oba-chan at the end. Do you remember how small she got?
I remember. I'm sorry.
For what?
For leaving. For not coming back. For being alive when you weren't. Can you forgive me?
I've been forgiving you every day for 70 years, Yumi. Every day I chose not to leave. Every day I stayed in the glass and watched you and waited. That was forgiveness. You just couldn't feel it because it looked like something else.
She raises her hand, palm flat against the inside of the glass. The same gesture as the first night in Osaka. The same gesture as 1,000 nights since. I try to lift my arm. My body is so heavy, so far away.
Come here. Don't be scared. It doesn't hurt. I would know.
Her hand comes through the glass. Her arm stretches from the wall to the bed, impossibly long. Thin as a child's, but reaching across the whole room. Her fingers find mine and wrap around them, and her skin is warm. Or maybe mine has finally gone cold enough to match hers. I can't tell anymore. I don't think it matters.
ZUTTO ISSHO.
I close my eyes. Her grip tightens. I let go.
ZUTTO ISSHO. ZUTTO ISSHO. ZUTTO ISSHO. ZUTTO ISSHO.
Together forever. That's what they promised. That's what they got. Whether Yumi found peace or simply traded one prison for another, the mirror isn't telling. It never does. But if you listen closely, very closely, you might hear them in there. The dead keep their promises. It's the living who forget. If you dare to delve deeper into these eldritch mysteries, subscribe to our podcast, leave a rating and review, and whisper of our tales to others. Your engagement feeds the book, fueling the terrors yet to come. Until next time, and may your nights be sleepless and your dreams unsettling.